Elle from lcs.blogspot.com. A fishtail braid is one of my favorite hairstyles for summer, and it looks so pretty and so chic, but whenever I tried to read or watch other tutorials, I just never got it. So I sat down one day, I kind of thought of how to form a braid in my head. I know that sounds crazy, and that's how I came up with this method. This is the easiest fishtail braid method that I have ever figured out or ever seen, and everybody that I've shown this to has been able to master this braid, and you are too. So I hope you keep watching because I've got lots of tips and tricks at the end on how to keep your fishtail braid. So first of all, if you're doing this on yourself, you're going to need a large enough mirror so you can see what you're doing. You'll need a brush or a comb and a hair elastic, and that's it. So the first thing you want to do is brush your hair to make sure it's free of any tangles, and then you want to make a side part. It doesn't matter which side you choose. Next, you'll gather your hair and move it over to the opposite side from where you parted your hair. Being able to see what you're doing is going to make this hairstyle key. Next, you want to divide your hair in half, and by having it equal, that means your braid will be even throughout. So I like to consider this to be section 1 and this to be section 2. Section 1 has what I call an outside. That means this part of the hair points toward the wall, and it has an inside where this part of the hair points toward other hair. So I call this the outside and this the inside. The same thing happens with section 2. This is section 2, this is the inside because it points toward my hair, and this is the outside because it points toward the wall. So this has an inside and an outside. Outside, inside, inside, outside. And that's going to be a phrase you hear me repeat throughout this whole video because that is the biggest key. Just repeat that to yourself. What you're going to do is take a section from the outside and cross it over to the inside of another section. So it doesn't matter which section you start with, but just be sure that you keep your pieces as consistent as possible. Naturally, if your hair is thinner, you want to use smaller pieces so that they stay together tightly, because with fine hair, I've noticed that the braid falls out a lot quicker, which I've got tips on that at the end. But in my case, I'm just going to use a piece like this. It'll just make it faster for the video. So I'm going to take a piece from the outside, cross it over to the inside of the other section. So you see how I did that? From the outside to the inside. Now I'm going to take a piece from the outside of the other section, cross it over to the inside of section 2. So let me show you that again. Take a piece from the outside, cross it over to the inside of the other section. So it looks like this. And then you're just going to repeat the same process. Start with a piece from the outside, cross it over to the inside. Take a piece from the outside, cross it over to the opposite section, the inside. And then I'll get a little bit closer. Take a piece from the outside of section 2, cross it over to the inside of section 1. Take a piece from section 1 on the outside, cross it over to the inside of section 2. And I like to pull my braid taut as I do this so that way my braid doesn't fall out. Take a piece from the outside, cross it over to the inside. Take a piece from the outside, cross it over to the inside. So again, I took a piece from the outside of section 1, cross it over to the inside of section 2. Take a piece from section 2 on the outside, whoops, cross it over to the inside of section 1. Take a piece from the outside of section 1, cross it over to the inside of section 2. Take a piece from section 2 on the outside, cross it over to the inside of section 1. And if you have pieces like I do that are layered, that just stick out, I'll show you at the end how to fix those. Take a piece from section 1 on the outside, cross it over to the inside of section 2. Take a piece from section 2 on the outside, cross it over to the inside of section 1. So we're going to do outside, inside, inside. And remember to keep your pieces as consistent as possible in size so that your braid stays consistent. So we're getting towards the end of the braid, and by the way, this is all my hair. I don't use extensions, but if you would like to use some extensions, I have a video on Hair Diamond Italia. Not sponsored, just saying, if you want to see what I look like with extensions. The exact same, just thicker hair. But this is a good idea to use hair extensions if your hair isn't long enough. So just keep those two sections distinct and separate. Section 1, Section 2, keep your pieces consistent, and then that should be it. Alright, I'm going to just stop it right here and put in a clear hair elastic. This is the finished braid. It looks like this. If you are going to something and you need the hairstyle to last, especially if you have fine hair, braid with small pieces and pull it tightly because your braid will begin to fall out. So that's one way to kind of keep it in, especially if you have fine hair. If you have thick hair, we know that it really doesn't matter. I use big pieces. Sometimes I'll go through and braid it tightly and then just pull pieces out to give me more of like that looser braid effect. And while this hairstyle is perfect for first day, second day, greasy day hair, wet hair, just be really careful because hair is most fragile when it's wet. I know sometimes it's a lot easier if you're dealing with dirtier hairs, but you could kind of mimic that effect of having second day hair by using either a dry shampoo. In this case, we're not going to use it on our roots. We're going to put some into our hands and then get it dispersed throughout the hair. So I kind of just give it some texture that way. You can also use a volumizing powder for the same effect. I also like taking a little bit of Beachy Wave spray, and this is my recipe. I have 4 recipes. I do one every year on the blog, and I'll take this and put it on wet hair and either let my hair dry naturally, or I will then use a blow dryer and kind of just blow it out. For me, Beachy Waves makes my hair a little bit frizzy, which is good because it gives you that volume that you're looking for, but for you it might just give you texture. So you're not necessarily going for the waves here, you're trying to mimic the texture. Now you'll notice that I do have layered hair and I have some little sprigs that want to stay out. You can go with this effect and spray it with some Beachy Wave spray and kind of pull at the braid to give it a loose effect. You can also take some texturizing cream or texturizing paste. This is from Not Your Mother's. Take just the tiniest bit, just emulsify it, and you can define those pieces that are sticking out for that super undone beachy look. If those pieces really bother you, take bobby pins, preferably small ones that match your hair color, but this is just what I'm showing you today, and take some dry shampoo. You'll want to spray the bobby pin with some dry shampoo and allow that to dry. This will give it a bit more hold. And then what you'll do is you'll take it with a pointy side down and you will simply take that tendril or whatever's poking out, stick the bobby pin in and tuck it under like that, and then it hides it. So that's the easiest way I can think of to show you guys how to get a fishtail braid. And from me, from Charlie, we just want to thank you so much for watching this video, giving it a thumbs up, giving it a positive comment, and taking the time out of your day to watch this. But if you still view this tutorial and you cannot get it, no matter how many times you've tried, I am doing a Google Hangout. For $5, you get 1 hour one-on-one video chat with me where I go over the fishtail braid, any beauty questions that you have, anything that you want to talk about for 1 hour. And I'm putting this out there for girls only because perverts, but if you're interested in a Google Hangout, please contact me at my email address below. I want you guys to get this, and I just hope you guys have a great day. Be safe, behave, and be well. Lavelle. Bye.